Hey everybody, it's Jake, and today I'm going to walk you through how I painted my Saurus warriors for the Seraphon army in Age of Sigmar. I want to get this done before 3rd edition comes out. First, here's our color lineup. We have Brilliant Yellow Pale, Cadmium Yellow Light, Cadmium Yellow Medium, Yellow Ochre, Burnt Umber, Cadmium Red Medium, Perline Black, Magenta, Titanium White, Phthalo Green, Indigo, Phthalo Blue in the top left, and Turquoise next to that. I really wanted to concentrate on color mixing today because I suck at making greens, and you would think that half blue, half yellow would get you a green, but it's a little bit more nuanced to that, and I'll get into it later. But first, for the pre-glaze, I just took the red and the perline black and mixed that together until I got a maroon burgundy type color, and I put in a little bit of magenta just to give the color a little bit more purple. And then I covered all 10 models in this color. From head to toe, top to bottom, the whole model gets covered in this color. Alright, next I took a makeup sponge and just erased all the excess paint, making sure to leave the color in the deepest, darkest recesses. And the tip, if there are spots you can't reach because your fingers are too fat like mine, just take a pair of tweezers with the sponge and you can get anywhere on the model that you need to get. Alright, next I got my base green. Notice how much yellow I put down compared to the blue I'm about to grab. It's very little blue. You don't need a lot of blue to get a nice green with this color combination. See, I barely touched the blue to that yellow and I got this vibrant green. I think it's easy for new painters to just want to 50-50 the colors, but if you work your ratios, you can get a myriad of different colors from just 2 colors, more than just yellow and blue equals green, so to say. So work on your color mixing by adding different amounts of each color to see what you get. And now I gently brush this onto the model. This is almost a dry brush. There's very little paint on the brush. And I'm taking very light, soft strokes against the model. I do not want to get much of this paint in the recesses where that magenta color still lays. And for the blue, it's just a little bit of phthalo blue and titanium white with a splash of turquoise. Now, some of these models, the edges are not as defined, so the magenta didn't get there. Like you can see on the shoulder there's not much magenta. It's more on the tail. But the same principles apply that I use with the green that I do with the blue. And then I highlighted each color Saurus warrior with what I thought would be a good highlight color. So for the green I used yellow, and for the blue I used white. Another point about mixing, you're going to do a lot of mixing on the palette, but you're going to do more mixing on the models. So you may take a yellow and expect to get straight yellow on the models, but because this is wet on wet paint, you are not going to get straight yellow. That is something to be cognizant about. So if you want more control over what you paint on the model, be aware of what colors you're putting on there and how that will interact with each other, because this is wet on wet paint. And that's why I always say it is going to take more than one pass to get to the final color you want, because it takes away some of the color and it replaces it with the color on your brush, but it's always mixing. And here for the splines, I used that green color, and on the green Saurus warriors I used the burgundy color and highlighted that up to a red. For the shields, I based them in straight red. And then I took the burgundy color and put that in the recessed bottom parts of these stones, I guess they are. And I did that for pretty much all of the stone on all of the shields. And then I'm going to go back in with yellow on the topmost parts of the stone and lay a highlight color down there. And then I took a blending brush and blended that out. Now for the non-metallic gold on all the swords, I placed down burnt umber in the spots where I wanted the darkest part of the gold to be, and then I took yellow ochre and put that next to that burnt umber. And this is all in real time, just to show you how easy non-metallic metals are in oil paints. This probably would have taken 10 hours with acrylics, but because this is wet on wet and it blends really nicely, it took, I think the whole clip that I'm showing you, because it's in real time, is 3 minutes. And then I took Brilliant Yellow Pale. It looks like a lot, but I changed the angle. Laid that kind of where I wanted the hottest highlights to be, in between the burnt umber and the ochre. Then I cleaned my brush off and picked that out with my finger. You can see the excess paint coming off even after I wiped it on a piece of paper. I did little dabbing brush strokes to blend it together. You don't want to just completely wipe your paints together to get one color. You want to do light, tight strokes. And after I'm done blending two colors, I pick it off of the brush with my fingers, just to make sure when I go to the next two colors, they don't mix together to make one muddy mess. And that's that. And for the inside of the swords, I took burnt umber and laid it in the two corners of the inside of the trim. I guess that's what that is. And I took red, laid it down in the center, and blended those two colors together. And then I went back in with yellow, made a highlight in the center. And it turned into a nice orange, but it's still red as red to me. And then I highlighted it with cadmium yellow light. And that's the finished product of the sword. Well, not really the finished product. I still have to do the bones and everything on there, but I did not get footage for that. All right, now for the staff of the leader here. This was kind of a crapshoot. I just took the darkest colors I could think of and then highlighted them up with lighter colors. I tried to keep each shape of each section of the staff confined to one square, and then I highlighted from the brightest colors to the top corner down to the darkest colors in the opposite corner, and that effect kind of worked. I'll be honest, it looks great. It's not perfect non-metallic metal, but for something that is so abstract, it worked. And you can see here I even put green in it, so when you look at it, it does look like there's a jungle reflecting off of it, which is not entirely off theme. It's a little weird that there's green coming out of nowhere, but it does work. I swear to God, it looks really cool to me, and that's what matters the most. And here you can see I'm picking some of the rage edges with some white, and that is with the almost finish. I think I went over some other parts after this shot, but that's what most of it looks like. It's cool. I like it. It doesn't read exactly as metallic, but it has enough weirdness and funkiness to it that it just works. That's the only way I can describe it. It's funky, cool, fresh. And here is the finished product. You can see the silver that I did not get footage of on some of the other parts. That one, the blue one's club, is just straight up silver. You can see the stone at the top of the staff going from that dark green to that silver at the top. It's not exactly silver, it's not metallic. You can see the gradients in the shields. I really like this job. I put a lot of time and effort into planning out the final result, and I think it paid off. I really do. So this video is kind of the opposite of last week's, where last week was you just paint the paint, and this one was I painted with a purpose. And I think I got a much better result because of that. So thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week.